DJ on the ones and
Yo,
twos.
what's going on, everybody? I got my people with me. It's going down.
Life with the Logans.
Yes, sir.
Everything's weak. We're down and devoted.
I can't think. I can't think. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
You're going crazy.
For life.
Come on.
Okay, Wanda with the vocals. Wanda with the vocals.
Out of town, y'all. Dallas in the building. Hey, y'all.
Hey,
Man, hey, appreciate y'all showing up, showing out. We got international people in the building. UK, stand up. Jamaica, stand up.
we labor the time.
Witnesses, what gathers us on today?
Today,
Go ahead.
go ahead. You go ahead.
What gathers us on today?
Ooh.
Well, there were some events that took place on Sunday evening, and what happened was there was an event that was heard around the world,
What happened?
and
What had happened was
there was a man by the name of William who happened to put hands on brother Chris. And what we decided to talk about,
we got questions. This is for the people who asked.
So people on the previous episode, because we were talking about how to apologize effectively.
Yes.
True apologies, sincere apology.
Is his name Willard?
And then
His name is Willard.
people started asking,
What
hey, based on what just happened today, can y'all talk about what happened? And we were like, man, let's hit up the fam. We had a FaceTime session like we do. And it was like, man, y'all, we should hop on the pod and we should talk about it.
Well, really what we want to talk about is protecting or defending your spouse is really what the question was. The questions were like, can you address what, I guess, I don't know, our opinions or our thoughts on defending or protecting your spouse, I guess. So we can just talk about that.
So here we go. We're not
going to talk about, what we're not going to do is talk about the actual situation, because I'm sure y'all have already talked enough about it, but we're just going to give our perspective on protecting our spouses.
All right. So my question is going to be to the Mulzacs.
Okay.
I actually want to hear, let's hear from Evangelist Wanda first.
Oh, not me. Don't let me be the first, because I'm long-winded.
She said, why did Will use an open hand? Because paper beats rock.
Yo, make it right.
I'm crying.
So Wanda, what is too far, in your opinion, when it comes to Lorelco defending you? Is there a such thing as going too far in trying to defend your spouse?
Yes, there is. Because to be honest, when you're defending somebody, you cannot risk that person's livelihood at the same time, not saying that they specifically, when I talk, let's just remove them out, because now I'm over them. They're celebrities, but I'm a normal human being. And at a certain point in protection comes, you have to think about the longevity of your actions and what happens in the future, what's going to be the repercussions of your actions, And so I've seen a lot of think pieces online about this whole situation, and people have made some great points. And one of those people were talking about their husband. They were talking about a situation that they were in where basically she was pregnant and she was wearing a baseball cap that had a team from.
Oh, you saw this on TikTok. I saw this too.
Yeah. Long story short, this guy basically kicked her, and her husband was in the car. She told her husband about it. Her husband got out. As bad as her husband wanted to beat him up, he realized that right in that car was his 4 sons watching him, and that basically that would be like a scar in their minds watching their dad hit somebody and then possibly go to jail. And so the best way he did was, just tell the guy, you're not a man, but he practiced restraint. And I feel like as a husband or as a, spouse in that situation, like he actually protected not only his wife, his reputation, his name, his namesake. He also like showed self-control. He showed that he had restraint. I mean, that's the best way, like as us, like having sons, like self-control, I feel like is our number one thing we want them to have as they grow up and become humans in this world. So long story short, I think protection is, relative to you, but I don't want my husband slapping people. Gotta be honest, okay?
Facts.
Please don't, because you can go to jail. Then I'm have to be with these twins by myself, try to figure out how to get you out of jail, what money. No, don't do it. Just, it's not worth it.
She said, my mama said, I can fight you if you kick or spit on me.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And the funny thing is, I know we're making kind of light of this particular comment, but those of us that grew up in Black households, or, if you go to your grandma's house or you hang out with your cousins, if there's some kind of altercation that breaks out when you're at school, it's like, well, did they hit you first? Yes. Okay. Then like, as long as they hit you first, and it's like, we give our children a green light to really fight back.
Yeah.
And so it's like, there's also the thing, it's like, okay, you can say anything, but just don't talk about my mama, my kids, blah, 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 blah. Everything else, like, it's on site. And so it's like, what we have to use wisdom in every aspect of our lives. And sometimes certain things are just not worth the backlash. So I'll ask you, honey, like what in your opinion, as a wife, we're talking to 2 wives here. You guys have been married for a long time. As a wife, what is too far?
I mean, I don't want to see you put your hands on somebody. I wouldn't want to see that. Now, I would like for you to give somebody words. If they say something negative about me, I do want you to back me up, though. Like, I want you to back me up, okay? But physical altercations is a no-go for me. But, I mean, yeah, no, that's not unless they hit you first. But if they hit, I'm on the side of if they hit you first, it's fair game. But if there's no, like, if they're just, I feel like words are not worth being physical. That's just me personally. Like, I'm not gonna just haul off and roundhouse kick you in the face because you know. But you're not even that kind of person anyway, so I wouldn't expect that from you. Like, I wouldn't expect you to be physical with someone. Mm-hmm. But I do want you to say something, though. Absolutely, please support me verbally.
Shout out to Lexus for
giving $1,
not only turning on the super chat, but donating to the Everything Is We foundation. We just thank God for your ministry.
Thanks, we appreciate you, Lex.
So whoever was trying to donate
for your offering,
donate earlier,
because the Lord loves a chill forgiver.
Function is on now.
The Lord loves a chill forgiver.
Never used it before in our lives, so if y'all won't go crazy, yeah. So here, let's look at one of the comments. Tanya said, "Yes, there's a limit. My husband be ready to snap, crackle, and pop like he on Grand Theft Auto. I just can't. Let's just trust."
Oh my gosh.
Oh God. No, but I think that's so important. What the lady in the TikTok that Wanda was talking about, I think that's so important what she was saying, because they have kids, and it's like, I mean, Willard has kids, so they should know this, but he has grown kids.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, you're number one, it's not just that, because this is on national TV. So it's like people are watching, and it's like, you don't want for that to stain your character, like you don't want your actions to stain your character. So self-control is important. That's a fruit of the spirit. We have to have self-control. That's like a non-negotiable. So like, I wouldn't even want you to do that just because I don't want your reputation to be like, oh, he a hothead. He gon', smack me in the mouth if I say something about his wife, which, I mean, you shouldn't say something about me anyway. But if you do, like, I don't think it should be like, I don't know. I don't think people should just be expecting husbands to like fight physically for their wives. Like, I don't think that should be the case at all.
And
no.
Another thing too, because when we were talking about like protection, like not even this situation, but like there's two situations in my mind. So like dealing with us, we've dealt with like, I guess, in-law, stuff where it was like, it was appropriate for him to be the one defending me,
Right.
It's like, that's your family, that ain't my family.
Right.
Do your thing. Certain things I'm just not gonna say to your family. I don't care. Like, I just gonna always have respect,
Yeah.
And like that's a different type of protection. But again, it doesn't have to call for like aggression, disrespect, none of that. It can be just like having boundaries. And like, I love seeing Lo, like when he's in a place of like control over himself. And it's like, this is what it is. These are the boundaries. Here's how it goes. Like, you're not going to do this or do that. But it's like real, just like straight to the point, direct. And you have boundaries, but you were a man. Like I see a man, like a strong man. I see a man like when you can contain yourself, you're not emotional,
Exactly.
you're not like overwhelmed. You're just, what you want to do. You know what you want to say. You know how to say it, and you're going to say it, and you're going to be direct. And then people are going to either respect it, accept it, or you're going to move on.
Yes.
And on the other side of it, it's like you see sometimes in controlling relationships where the man feels like he has to speak for the woman, and he feels like he has to like defend her honor. And, and for me, I always question like, what's going on within the man? And we could go back to Will, that made him feel that he had to outwardly use aggression to prove that he had his back. And honestly, you're not really proving to us, you're proving to your wife, hey, honey, I hold you down. I'm gonna slap them for you, or I'm gonna tell them off for you, or I'm gonna send them a long think piece on your behalf. So I feel like it's a delicate balance of that protection when it comes to your spouse. And the same for women, like we could, I'm gonna go fight her for you. Or it's like, your mere presence and the fact that you demand respect and the fact that you won't allow certain things. And you don't have to be like cussing someone else to say, I don't want to allow it. It's simply like, these are my boundaries. Here's what I'm going to stick to. I'm going to show you that I'm going to stick to these boundaries. And that's how I defend my family, or that's how I defend my spouse. So I feel like everybody has a different definition of that. And it's always based on what's going on internally as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So to my brother, Lorelco, I love talking to Lorelco because Lorelco always has an interesting perspective on most things that people deem controversial. And sometimes it might not even be controversial, but he may have a controversial take on it, which is not bad.
I love the violence.
It's not bad. So two things, okay? Two things. And then, yeah. So first, because I've seen a lot of this too. Simi98 says, wisdom, wisdom, wisdom. I saw, just like she did, or they did, I don't know if it's a man or woman, all these folks saying, if he can't Will Smith, then he ain't the one. Is low-key scary. So Lorelco, how do you feel we as husbands should honor? Should it always be like an on-site thing? Like, if you say anything crazy about my wife, you liable to get slapped, punched, kicked, whatever. Is that the proper way to go about it? And does that make you a good husband, a suitable man or a spouse, a provider? What are your thoughts?
Man, it's a tough question because your strength lies in how you control your emotions, right? And I feel for this particular situation, what I've been hearing is that, Chris Rock had his trauma. And so when Will Smith slapped him, he reactivated the trauma that he had to deal with. Well, Will Smith has trauma too. So we got to understand that everybody has trauma. Everybody has something that they're dealing with. And so when you're dealing with delicate situations like this, when someone just snaps, I don't think it's always the first instinct for a man to just go off. There's always something that builds up to it. And so when I say that, I feel like when a woman or when someone says, a woman says, I need my husband to have that same energy on site, be ready. Well, to a certain degree, he should be ready. To a certain degree, yes. I feel that every man,
Please don't be ready.
every husband should always be ready. I just feel that way, like,
Please, no.
defend your honor, be ready. But there's a certain way to do it. Again, strength doesn't lie in acting out or acting out of impulsive behaviors because, you're trauma dumping. You get what I'm saying? Like your strength lies in, okay, I'm gonna stand up for my wife, but maybe let's do it a different way. Let me tweet this man real quick. Hey, my guy, you know what I'm saying? Let me talk to him behind stage. Hey, bro, this is the second time you talk about my wife on the Oscars, man, on national television. What's going on with that? Or maybe you go on your speech and before you talk about your speech, maybe you say, hey, man, I feel like it was low-key disrespectful. That's defending your honor in a way that's less violent. You know what I mean? And so in my opinion, I feel like we should always be ready. We on site ready. You know what I mean? Because if we're not, you know what I'm saying? That gives room for someone else. It gives room for me to, like, I feel like if Will Smith had handled this in 2016, we wouldn't have this problem.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? So that for me, on site being ready is let me handle this now before it becomes a problem in the future.
Before it builds up.
Before it builds up to something else. And that's where maturity comes in. That's where your strength that's where your strength comes in. And let me foreshadow this. Because if you're doing this now, I don't say nothing. If you're doing this now, I don't say nothing. You're gonna do it again. So on site, let me be ready. Let me approach him like a man and say, hey, man, I appreciate your laughter, your gander. It's funny. I appreciate it. But let's not do that again. You know what I'm saying? have that real stern conversation. Let's not do that again. You understand what I'm saying? Like, touch him real sweet. You know what I mean, bro? You feel me? Like, let's man to man. That's my wife. I appreciate the jokes. I love the gander. But you know what I mean? Let's not.
Can I just say we've seen Lorelco defend Wanda's honor before in public, and it's great every time.
Hey,
He ain't slapping nobody.
He ain't slapping nobody, but
Let's be clear.
let's be clear.
hey,
One thing about Lo.
what do I say about Lil Wanda?
No nonsense.
Nonsense kind of guy.
Listen. You can defend your
No,
wife
but
honor
he'll address
without
something
touching
on the
someone.
first time though. That's the
Yes,
problem with a lot of
immediately.
people. People like, I love what he's saying. He's like, he probably, like, a lot of people that I was seeing tweeting as well, they were like, hey, this is built up because it can't be just off of that, you
Right.
know? And it's like, I was actually texting Vicky this. Whenever a building collapses, right? Like we see the outside of what happens to a building collapsing. We only see it falling, but we don't see all of the little bombs that went off and when the structure broke down on the inside. We don't see that. We only see like the big boom of it all, and that's how it is in life. If you don't address situations when you first have the issue, then it just builds up. And the next thing you know, someone's blowing up and now you hitting people and now you going off on people, you just got to deal with it. So one thing about him, he will address it really quick. Like, hey, that didn't happen. But there are times when he do have a delayed reaction. He's very thoughtful. He's not like overly emotional. So
Yeah.
I still think at the same time too, we should hold each other accountable as marriage couples, as couples. We should hold each other accountable, and we should know what we are both capable of doing. Right? It shouldn't be I don't think it was a surprise for Jada to see Will Smith smack him.
She was not shocked. That
She wasn't.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Did y'all see the other angle? Somebody had an angle on their phone that they recorded when they were sitting behind Lupita, Will, and Jada.
Yeah.
And Jada laughed.
Yeah.
she laughed at him being smacked.
She laughed.
See, that ain't
Will went up there. Jada was sitting there. Will went up there, smacked him, came back to his seat, and then Chris was like, "Wow, I just got smacked." Or he said, "This is gonna be the best rated Oscars or whatever." And she laughed. Like we saw it. There's video evidence.
Oh my gosh.
And so
I have my thoughts, but I'm not.
What's your thought, Vicky? Because we haven't heard from you.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't matter about the situation because we don't know if the situation was staged or not. So that's why I speak lightly on the situation.
Well, okay. Two things.
Let's be clear.
Let's
Two
be clear
things. I totally love Wanda's foundation or building falling, because when your parents were here earlier this week and we were talking about something that had nothing to do with that.
One thing about Cam, we gonna preach.
But I'm going to find a message and everything.
Yes.
So my father-in-law, they're about to have some work done on the house, because he's saying in the front they got a lot of brick and they have a driveway in the front that goes in front of the house. And over time, he just got the brick redone like last year. Yeah.
Recently.
And now he says he has to do it again because you're starting to see the foundation of the beginning of where the soil and the brick meets. So he said, I have to get all of that done because we have no water retention. So because the foundation is showing, I have to change all of it. And here's the message in that. Some of us, like Wanda said, you don't see that your foundation is slowly cracking over time, and things that you don't deal with when you first start seeing, like, oh, let me just patch that up. Oh, let me just, it's cracking, but let me just put some drywall, sealing
Covering
over
it up.
Let me just cover it. Let me just pat. And a lot of us are doing patchwork instead of getting to the root of the issue. And I believe this is what many of you all are saying. He should have handled this in 2016. They supposedly have beef that's been going on for many years. Well, if you address things at the beginning, like Wanda says about Lo, if you deal with stuff first, you don't have to worry about the blow up.
Yep.
Because I done told you once, I done told you twice.
Come on.
But when those things don't happen, or we're not aware of those things happening, then this is when events like this can happen. So my question to the wives is, I also saw some think pieces after days where folks didn't say nothing about this.
Right.
Is it the wife's responsibility to protect her husband from going to said levels and trying to protect you all?
Well, what could
Jada have done?
I feel like sometimes as women, we tend to put all the blame on men. Not you and me, but I'm just saying in general, women in general, from what I've seen online, we tend to put a lot of blame on men for the issues that they may cause in a relationship. But women do this stuff too sometimes. And we have to also be accountable for our part. So I can't make you feel like you have to haul off and roundhouse kick somebody every time something goes down, because like I shouldn't put you in that position in the first place to make you feel like you have to do that, because men feel like they have to protect their, like somebody said in the comments, like, was he trying to protect his manhood? Because men sometimes feel like, as a protector and a provider, if they're not given that opportunity in the marriage to begin with, they'll take an opportunity like that to really show that they're a man, because they've kind of been, their manhood has kind of been, shaky, because the woman has overstepped and made him feel that way and taken away some of that, manliness that he may have had in the beginning. So I feel like it is our responsibility to let men be men, and also to not make them feel like they have to do something crazy or rash just to protect us and defend our honor. Because I mean, at the end of the day, yes, you are a protector and a provider, but we're also a team, and we both have our parts in everything. So like, I can't make you feel like you always have to fight somebody for me just to prove to me that you're worthy as a husband. Like, number one, that's not fair to you, because that puts you in a hostile situation. Like, that means our environment at home is hostile because you have to like go out trying to fight people. Like, that's not okay. But I mean, at the same time, I shouldn't put you in a position to feel like you have to do that anyway, so.
Yeah. And I agree with you, Vicky. The last part you said was major keys. First of all, you don't be hitting no man on a stage randomly and your wife ain't shocked. And you never went down in your own household. Not saying now.
We don't know.
I don't know these people, and I am not insinuating a thing. Okay. But what I am saying from my personal experience with people that I know, it's never just like, oh, he's super aggressive and super, at it with other people. It's like, okay, so when he gets mad at you, what happens?
Exactly.
But I think it's the wife's responsibility. It's not I didn't like the blaming of her because like he's his own man. But at the same time, like when you are with someone who builds you up and like wants to see you at your best and like doesn't need you to like prove your love to them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they want you to be your best selves independent of them, like
Right.
For me, I wouldn't want him to feel like he had to work to prove that he loved me, like if I feel like the moment that you would have stood up from your seat, I would have been like, no, it would have been like the camera would have been on me dragging you back, like begging you not to go, because I already know, and I feel like that's really protecting your spouse because you don't want the world to see them in a light that makes them that vulnerable,
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the thing.
Go ahead, Lo.
Here's the thing.
Let's be clear.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. This got nothing to do with Jada.
No.
Everything to do with Will. So his actions, yes, they may reflect on the relationship, but at the end of the day, his actions reflect on himself because he should be accountable for himself as well. Now, when I say accountability, what I mean by that is that's a conversation that y'all should have closed doors. Hey, what's up? What's going on? That should have been a conversation before stage. Why? Because there's always something that shows what's getting ready to happen before it happens.
Right.
So that's why she wasn't surprised because he was already reaching his breaking point. So he's like, oh, okay, cool. He did it. I knew it was going to happen eventually because there's been conversations. Now, of course, I ain't in a house, but you know what I'm saying? Usually there's always a fall before the fall. You can always notice the trend before it happens because behaviors are just a result of what has already been happening.
Mm-hmm.
When you act out, that's just a result of what's already been shaping and taking forth. If you're paying attention, if you've paid attention to Will's actions beforehand, this is something that's already been. I think someone talked about his book, what he was writing in his book about his dad and all this stuff. He's been building this stuff up for a minute, so it has nothing to do with Jada. It has everything to do with him. And so when I say that, it's like, Will, it's on him to really see himself. When he slapped him, that's like a 16-year-old, 15-year-old child coming out of him. That's not a man. That's not a man coming out because a man would be able to withstand that, handled it in a different way. So when we acknowledge, okay, Will did that. Okay, we get it. He did it. But that's the 16-year-old boy in him. That's the 12-year-old boy. That's the boy in him that never got the love that he needed. That didn't get the affirmation that he needed to be strong. That was a little boy coming out saying, "Hey, look at me. I need attention because I'm hurt."
Yeah, that was validation.
That was validation. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't really for her. He didn't really stand up for her. That was for him.
Yes.
When men do things like that, that ain't for them. That's for him.
Mm-hmm.
They got nothing to do with, oh, this is my love for Jada. No, bro, that's your hurt that came out. They got nothing to do with your love for anybody else. That's a lack of love for yourself. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Will did a terrible thing. I get it. You don't lay your hands on anybody. But at the end of the day, I feel bad for him because I'm like, I really hope that, counseling, he gets therapy, that he really gets the help that he needs to figure out, what is the trauma behind the act that was never dealt with. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So and obviously we're giving our commentary, guys.
Absolutely, it's commentary.
We don't many of us, and we have no idea.
I have thoughts, but
I still feel a certain way about the whole thing.
But I feel like even if whether you're whatever side you're on, whether you believe what happened is real or not, it's still about validation. And
there's still something that could be taught or lessons could be learned from this event.
It's still about validation and acceptance. That's all it's about.
This is why we're talking about
being accepted publicly. That's all it's about.
And because people keep saying, well, Will could have addressed it when he got his Oscar. Well, you don't know if you're going to get an Oscar.
He didn't know he was going to get an Oscar.
So how do you know?
That's true.
Well, let me say this then. Okay. Oh, Will was selfish. He took the moment off of the Williams sisters getting, doing King Richard. Well, he didn't know if he was going to get an Oscar or not. Like, maybe he thought he had a really good chance, but you know, and these kind of things, you just don't know. I'm not in the Hollywood industry. I don't know. But clearly they didn't go years prior because they just like, well, I'm probably not going to get it. I done did way better work than this. I don't think I'm going to win this type of view. Okay. So it's like, there's so many different things that we can try to derive from the situation. But we just, at the end of the day, we don't have all the facts. We're not these people. So we don't know
this situation.
100%.
This situation, you know what it reminds me of? And I hate to bring this up because I don't want to be like petty. I don't want to be petty, but I'll wait till Wanda puts her ears back on. Okay. This situation reminds me of a couple that's no longer together. It reminds me of when Devon Franklin had to defend Megan Good when the lady stood up and said something about how she was dressing.
Oh, wow.
And I thought about that because he defended her in that moment. And people were also talking about this same thing about defending your wife and whether or not you should publicly defend her or how you should publicly defend her. I thought about that situation and it made me chuckle because they're not together no more. But it reminded me of that. And so
in what way? Because I'm going to
defending your spouse. He defended her when that lady got up and said you shouldn't be dressing however you dress, blah blah blah. He said, whoa, we're not going to do that, and he defended her publicly, and everybody was talking about it.
So what is your? I'm not trying to be like frank, but like, what's your point in that?
My point is, it reminded me of that situation.
Oh, it just reminded you. So you think that Devon was
well?
Right,
he handled it differently.
I mean, what's he gonna do? Get up and slap the lady?
No, he's not gonna slap the. But
Please,
he's not gonna slap the lady. No, he's not gonna slap the lady because that's a woman. But had it been a man, I mean, is that a moment? I mean, like, you know what I'm like? I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I'm just saying it reminded me of that situation. In that situation, did he do it the right way? You know, like how do you defend?
Okay, so here's the thing. People have said it. Everyone has their breaking point. Okay. When it comes to you, I'm real cool, calm, and collected 99.9% of the time. But there are certain things that will cause me to go to another level.
Oh no. So would you slap somebody?
Here's the thing.
Hear me.
As much as I try to operate in self-restraint and self-control, because it's one of the fruits of the spirit, being led by the spirit, even the way I speak 9 times out of 10, there's a lot of pauses and things because I'm trying to monitor and filter my thoughts from what's foolish and what's wise.
Yep.
What's beneficial and what's going to cause terror.
Right.
I'm constantly doing that. But sometimes you may get to a point where it's like, okay. And there's been moments where, listen, I'm a son. There's been moments where your dad has said things to you that I didn't agree with, and I had to say something. There's been times where my dad may have said something in relation to you or whatever, and I had to defend you because that's what I felt, because I feel like you my wife, so ain't nobody finna talk to you any kind of way.
I like this, Cam. Keep going.
Can we be totally frank and honest?
I feel you.
The situation where you went through in 2016, I believe, there was so many times where I wanted to fight and cuss and go off on people on the gram, but I'm like, it ain't even gonna do nothing.
It ain't gonna do nothing.
It's not gonna be beneficial.
What's beneficial is key.
Bible says, think on these things.
It says,
oh my,
whatsoever is true. Jesus was saying in Mark chapter 22 or 26, he said, put away your sword, because whoever uses the sword is going to die by the sword. There's going to be times in our lives where we're going to want to be like Peter and we're going to want to cut folks' ear off because they talking about somebody we love.
Yep.
But what benefit is that going to do? And there's going to be times where we're going to be like Peter and we're going to cut somebody with our words, or we may hit somebody, or we may react out of our humanity. But does that make us terrible people? Does that mean, they need deliverance, they need counseling, they need, right? Or is there such thing? I don't know, y'all. This is just open dialect now. Or is that just he got upset, he had a temper, and he acted out?
I think that I think I get what you're saying, but at the same time, like when you do have those moments that are beyond yourself, yeah, you need counseling. Yeah, you need to talk to somebody, because you may not even understand the root of it. Like that to me means that you haven't been addressing your feelings for a while. So it caused you to pretty much like explode. You've bottled it up. You're like shaking a soda can and you're exploding. And I feel like a lot of people use like go to counseling as like what is it, like as if it's something bad, as like, oh, you need this, you need help, you need, like, there's nothing wrong with needing help. Like people that don't slap people can still use some counseling. And so I don't think that I get what you're saying. And like people can have a moment and like, you don't have to basically villainize them based on that one wrong thing that they've done. I'm definitely on board with that, but I feel like when those things happen, then sometimes they can alert you to be like, okay, let me look it within. Let me go and search deeper as to why I had that response. Let me figure it out. You may be able to do it by yourself. You may just need to journal out your feelings every morning at 5 a.m. I don't know, whatever it is that you need to do to kind of like re-engage with your emotions. There's nothing wrong with that. But I do have a problem with cancel culture and like thinking that when someone makes one mistake, that's like the sum total of who they are. And then like they can make no other right turns. Like I was seeing some stuff like it was just so extreme. And I feel like the idea that like people have to be either hot or cold, that's biblical now. But like in reality, most people, we have these like extreme sides of us, but that doesn't mean that that's like all I am. Like someone could be loving and hateful depending on the experience, someone can be like me, mixed, white and black. Like you're just not, that was a bad example. But what I'm saying is like the idea that our generation has created that like someone has to be either this or that, if I don't like something, I hate it. No, I just don't like it. That doesn't mean that there's not an extreme. There doesn't have to be extremes. It could be like, he had a bad day and he's, still a nice guy. But we don't know that. We don't know these people, overall, like if you're following social media influencers, if you're following a celebrity and then you see a breaking point, I want to kind of like go back to the fact of like the building. Just because a building dropped, that doesn't mean that that's like the sum total of the building. You don't know all the bombs that went off that caused that thing to break. Just like with the person, if they have those, defining moments, you don't know all the things that have been happening consecutively to like cause what you see now. We don't know these people. We don't know them. Like he could slap people every day and we just haven't seen it on camera. Or maybe he's never slapped someone ever and this is his one and last time. But like we'll never know that. So we always have to grade.
But we have seen Will smack people.
But we're not talking about Will in this moment. We just talking about in general.
Right. Okay, so right, like I was saying, like this individual saying, cancel culture is so toxic.
It is.
And
really
as much as our generation and the culture that we live in now, people are really trying to put an end to toxicity. We sure do have a lot of toxic ways.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
And to not give people grace because we don't know what's going on in your household. We don't know what's going on in your household. We don't know what's going on in your household. It's like everyone that has any type of influence or anyone that has any type of platform is like, we have to always be on. And this is what we talk about being PKs. It's like, y'all expect us to always be on. Members expect us to always be on. Influencers too. I've seen a golfer recently. I love golf. A golfer recently snatched a fan's phone and threw it to the ground. Dude, you got your phone in this man's face like super close. Like people have breaking points, and people are human. And the more you treat people like they're other than you, that's when we can fall into dangerous spaces, because people are human. And as much as those of us that are on this video right now, we are believers, we are Christians, we profess Jesus Christ. There are moments that we are more human than we are spiritual, because we're human. And so our humanity plays a role in the way we live our lives. So yeah, I mean, guys, listen, there's so many. It's at this point, it's not about Will and Jada. It's not about Chris Rock. It's about, how do we handle serious issues? How do we handle serious moments that cause people to be divided and conflicted? How do we do that? So I also want to give a huge shout out to Make It Right. They keep hitting us with the super chat, and that's just really dope. Like, gas prices is high and all kind of stuff, and folks decide they want to. Y'all want to support. Like,
y'all don't owe us nothing.
Y'all don't owe us not a single thing. We definitely appreciate Eni and everyone that supports us in the way that y'all do, man. We just grateful.
Yes.
I was telling Vicky yesterday. I always like saying the other day. I was telling her yesterday. No, that was actually Wednesday. So it was the other day.
It was the other day. I am making so much noise. Yeah, I'm so sorry.
That a lot of times, the way I approach things is, if I can help one person, then I feel like I'm doing what God wants me to do. I'm walking in my purpose. If I just help one person a day, I feel like I'm operating in my purpose. And it's like knowing your why. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like I know my why. No matter what I do, if I'm on the golf course, I'm on the basketball court, if I'm in the golf store, if I'm on Instagram, if I can help one person, if I can make one person smile or help someone see Jesus just by the way I live my life, but I don't have to come in front of them and speak in tongues or do all kind of crazy stuff. Like, if I can just help one person, like that's me being who God called me to be, right? Letting my light so shine before men that they may see my good works and glorify my Father in heaven.
That's important that you said that. And it ties back into what we're talking about, because Will said it in his speech after he slapped the dude. Knowing your why is important. It should have kept him from making a bad decision, but it should keep you, in theory, it should keep you from making bad decisions when you know your why. It should keep you walking in an integral way and not wanting to distract from the why. Because when you think about what your why is and why you're doing something and why it's important and who's watching, not that you should overly care about what people think about you, but you should be cognizant of what you're putting out, because you want to make sure that you are still being a light in everything that you do, regardless of how many people are watching. And that's so important. And I think that's something to remember in regards to defending your loved ones and making sure that they're protected. You also have to make sure you know why you're protecting them and why you're defending them, because I think the why is another reason why that situation went the way it did, because the why wasn't a good reason. It wasn't for a good reason. And you can tell by the way that there was a reaction, because if the why is about protecting somebody you love, you won't make them look stupid. You'll make a smart decision because the why is bigger than you. Right.
And that's on both parts.
It's on both parts. It's on both parts. Absolutely.
Just like we talked about in the latest podcast. Guys, go back and watch the latest podcast. It hasn't done that well as far as views. But if y'all are subscribers, I really, really encourage y'all to go back and watch.
Make sure you're caught up on all the episodes.
For real.
Because they all tie together.
I never do this. I almost feel like a preacher. Like, y'all, like, seriously.
Okay.
Go back and watch it later, because I said it in my reel. Like, if you're hurting, I'm hurting.
Yeah.
I may not be physically hurting. I may not understand the totality of what you're experiencing, but you being my spouse, us being one, being together, being united, as my dad would say, united, being united. If you're hurting, I'm hurting, and I'm not going to put you in a compromising position. And just like I pray, you don't put me in compromising positions, right? And so this is why we talk about things like this. This is why we have these open discussions and conversations, so that we as a team don't do things that cause each other guilt, shame, disappointment, pain, hurt, heartache, all the above. And so this is why I believe this is a great conversation for us to have, because as couples and as people who God has given us the ministry of reconciliation. We were talking about this Wednesday night with our parents at our special Wednesday night service. It's just great. Like, God has given us the ministry of reconciliation. There has to be a sacrifice in order for reconciliation to take place. There has to be one of two things. There has to be a change, meaning one person has to come to, like, I know I was standing real firm on this, but you know what? I changed my position. And there has to be an exchange. Jesus was our exchange. Jesus took the place of us who deserve death, who deserve hell. And Jesus stood in the gap and said, you know what? I'm going to die for y'all sins. Even though if you go back and read in the Gospels, Jesus allowed his humanity to peek through, because he said, Luke chapter 22, verse 42, I believe, Jesus said, not my will, but your will be done. I would rather not die, but it's not about me. Everything in our marriage is not about me. I have to consider you all the time, right? So not my will, but the better will of what we're trying to accomplish has to be done. That's not a pun.
Double entendre?
No pun intended. But
no? Okay.
And that's what has to happen in order for us to be reconciled. First, Jesus did the work to reconcile us back to God. Now we have the ministry of reconciliation to reconcile with each other. Recon is reconnaissance. It's the ability to gather information and knowledge. Once you gather the proper information and knowledge, I'm going to ensure that I don't say something that's going to hurt Wanda and Lorelco's feelings or cause them to feel something other than love, joy, and happiness when I come around, because I'm not doing something that's going to affect the relationship that we have. And this is what we have to do as people, is we have to do the reconnaissance, the gathering of information, so we don't walk around here thinking that we in good relationship with people when really we didn't talk about they dead dog that really meant a lot to them, and we cracking jokes about it, and we don't know that that's a spark. That's something that's going to cause them to go over like, bro. And I'm using something that kind of don't make sense, but you get what I'm saying, yes. Right? When you're in relationship with people, you do the necessary work to ensure that you're not causing things that cause rifts in the relationship.
Right. Yeah, and even with that, like we've experienced, firsthand with people who just, they don't understand that communication piece, and they have that issue with others or issues with their friends or issues with other people, and they fail to communicate those issues. They fail to communicate in a healthy way what the issues are, what those problems are, and then they come up in ways that cause confusion. And anything that's confusion is not of God. We know that God is not the author of confusion. And so I think it's, like you said it very important, like we have to understand that what we're saying, what we're doing is not to offend, but it's also to bring peace, because God is a God of peace. Even though he's a God of war, at the same time, he's a God of peace. And so we just have to understand how to better communicate with each other, with people, with friends, with business owners, with employees, employers, understanding that like everybody has emotions, everybody has feelings, and everyone is going through something. Everyone has their issues as well. And so when you present certain things to people that you have an issue with, present it out of love, not out of way of spite, not out of a way of, I'm done with you, I'm through with that. I'm like, those type of communication barriers can cause rifts, can cause Will Smith to slap Chris Rock, can cause certain things, to take place that is outside, that's all emotion and not logic, all emotion and not in clear understanding. And so you said it right, but a lot of people move out of emotion. They don't move out of understanding. And that's one of the hardest things for us as people to get out of, is our emotions. Like, everything ain't got to be emotional. Just because you don't like certain things don't mean you got to be emotional about it and then just fly off the handle because you emotional. You know, we have to understand, like, yes, we have emotions, yes, but they don't always have to be exerted on others. They don't always have to be put out in behaviors that cause offense to other people.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
That's true. And when you think about like emotions and stuff like that, it's always a sign of maturity. I mean, I feel like I've been emotional before. You know, I've done things that I'm not proud of. I said things that I wasn't, I wouldn't want that to be broadcasted on the on the Oscars. I be calling the Grams. I don't even care about this stuff. I really don't even be watching, to be honest. But like, that also humbles you too, when like you think about all of the times that you've done something out of character that was not broadcasted, that no one had a camera on,
Yeah.
But I have personally learned in terms of emotions and things like that through my sons, especially Kason, one of our sons. He's really emotional. He will cry and scream and go crazy for hours if you let him. But I've learned to like talk through them with him and kind of like identify the emotions. I feel like I don't even know where I was going with this, truthfully. But emotions, like if you put a name to it and you really like want to work on being emotional and being an emotional person and being a person that's like heavily led by emotions, like you have to be able to like pinpoint where your emotion is coming from, and kind of stemming back to what Cam was talking about earlier, like, and Lo actually, being able to like pinpoint your issue, pinpoint what went wrong, and be able to address it when it happens, or else it just becomes an emotional train wreck and you're like carrying this emotional tornado that's just like turning and has all of these little things and little triggers, and then that trigger belongs to when you were 5, and then it belongs to when you were 6, and then when your dad rejected you back then, and then when someone talked about you and you didn't have, like, everything is just going to be like a little domino effect. So it's just best to kind of like take inventory on emotions. I don't know, y'all.
What you're saying is making sense.
That's where I was heading, okay? But
Yeah,
I was heading somewhere.
Because I mean, like you're saying, even with Kason, like he's in a stage where I just didn't understand like how he could have such big emotions. Like, and it's funny because as a 2-year-old, they don't really talk, but Kason expresses his emotions by yelling and screaming, by just being extra, just like sometimes he's not even mad. He's just, I gotta say it, but I don't know what to say, so I'm just gonna scream and just go crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, bro, you really have some big emotions. And so what I've learned is when he walks up to me, or one time I told him, no, that's not what we're gonna do. We're not doing that. He just looked at me and just said, I was like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. All right, bet. Let me talk to you. This is why we're not doing that. I understand that you're frustrated. And we had that conversation. I pinpoint the fact, okay, bro, like you are frustrated. He's like, yeah, I'm mad. All right, cool. What can we do to solve this? You're not gonna get everything that you want. So I'm a lecturer. My dad
You're
was
not that good at dismantling this man's emotions.
I'm not that good at it. This is what I've learned. I got stories for days. My dad was a lecturer. You know what I'm saying? So what I hated was when my dad lectured me. That's what he like. He wasn't a big disciplinarian guy. That was my mom, right? But my dad, like, he would sit me down, cross his little legs, got me, cross his arms, legs. This is how he would sit, just like this, and just have a full blown conversation. And I'm just like, dude, I don't want to sit here for a whole hour listening to you talk to me about my issues you had with me. Like that's torture. Like, so I started doing that. With Kason and Kylo. And they hate it. They're screaming. I'm just talking. I said, we're going to sit right here. We're going to talk. I'm like, bro, what is happening right now? But I'm realizing, like, having a conversation hurts. Sometimes having a conversation of truth hurts. It's worse. It's worse than a slap.
Hey, man. Come on, man. Again.
Like, we understood that having a conversation of truth hurts worse than a slap.
Why does it hurt, babe?
Because you're touching an area, a core area that you know that you have an issue with,
and you ain't brushing it under.
And you ain't brushing it under the rug. Again, it's that foundational piece. You're not brushing it under the rug. There's a broken pipe in the house. There's a broken pipe in the house. You see it leaking. If you don't address that broken pipe, it's gonna go and trickle into other areas of the house. Mm-hmm. Your house flooded. Why your house flooded? Well, I didn't address that pipe. It's been there about a whole year now, and I know I should have addressed that pipe. I seen that pipe, and I know I should have addressed it. Well, now the whole house is messed up. Mm-hmm. All you had to do was have a conversation a conversation of truth, to look at yourself in the mirror, realize, dang, man, that's me.
And having a conversation with someone that hurt you, it takes courage.
It takes courage.
It takes less courage to slap somebody in the face.
Absolutely.
Than it takes to explain your emotions.
Explain it.
About what someone did to you.
Absolutely.
Yep.
To them in their face. Because why? You can be faced with rejection. They could be like, I don't care.
Yep.
That don't matter. They could meet you with, who cares? I don't care that I did that. So it takes real courage to approach a situation and say, hey, I don't like that you did X, Y, and Z. And that's why a lot of times people don't do that, you know?
And that's why I respect you. Because even just last night, we had a little disagreement.
One thing about me, I'm addressing
we had a little disagreement last night. I mean, I'll just be honest with you. We had a little disagreement last night. And one thing I always loved and respected about Wanda is like, she going to tell me how she feel. She going to say it. Now, it may not come out the best way.
Love it.
No.
It ain't gonna come out sweet, but she gonna say it.
Like, she going to say it.
He going to go to sleep on me too.
I'll do it now. Because she want to have these whole deep conversations at the middle of the night. You know what I'm saying? It's, my God, man, it's 1 o'clock in the morning. You want to have this deep conversation. I don't understand what you're talking about right now. I am tired.
The time just got away from me.
And so, you know, either case, like what she does is she has a way of explaining herself. That's not always the best way, but she has a way of explaining herself that causes me to look inward. It causes me to look within and be like, man, golly, that's
hold on. This is good.
This is
I propose a Mulzac and Logan self-help book with as analogies, and then proceed to break it all down, because the way y'all connect these things, the masses need to know.
Look what she said. Look.
Okay.
Leaky pipe foundation, except
These are the chapters.
Take notes for us, Whitley.
Huh?
Oh, come on.
I don't remember what I said.
Cody Barnes
I hope
said,
you take
Christ
notes.
is my firm foundation.
that's what he said. No,
What were you saying? I'm sorry.
no.
That was good. I'm sorry.
So we had a little disagreement last night. You know what I'm saying? So, and we've learned, because our disagreements used to be bad back in the day. Like, it used to be like extremely bad. And so
Don't say extremely bad. Now you just
compared to others where people can actually just have a legit mature. We were immature. We were just having immature conversations.
Yeah, we wasn't listening to each other.
We wasn't listening. We just, oh, you say that, I'm gonna say this. Oh, you gonna say that? I'm gonna say that.
We'll start clowning each other.
Clown. Oh, you that's why you didn't have your feet done the other day. Your feet.
When they roast each other, it is
ashy for me. I've been wanting to tell you it was ashy, but now that I'm mad, I'm gonna tell you now.
One time, you got me so mad too. And sometimes he be making me laugh, and I'm like trying to be mad, and I'm like,
you gotta make each other laugh when you're mad, bro.
It was petty.
We be in the car, and sometimes she'll say something. I know I'm mad. I look to the other side while I'm driving.
Oh, and don't stutter when you got a point to make,
eyes.
because we're gonna go. You ain't even gonna get that out,
man. Anyways,
I'm like to my feelings.
Get it out,
get it out, and then you can't say it no more.
The jokesters, bro. Like, so, but either back to my point. Last night we had a little disagreement, but what Wanda did, she addressed her concern, and when she addressed her concern, it caused me to look at myself and realize, hey, bro, like, look at yourself in the mirror. She has a concern, but it's legitimate, and it forced me to look within. It's like, man, that is me. Like, whether she was right or wrong, it still made me reflect on what I needed to do to change, or what I needed to do to maybe fix, or not even just to fix. Maybe I just needed to address it and acknowledge, hey, that was me. Acknowledge, hey, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings. Hey, you know what I mean? I may not agree, but at least I'm going to acknowledge the fact that you're hurt in this moment. Right. And I need to do my part to ensure that it doesn't happen again, or you need to feel love or whatever. Now, it may not always happen that way in a disagreement, but at the end of the day, that's what you should come to terms with. Hey, let's sit down, let's talk, because this is a difficult conversation, clearly, because you're making me look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, yo, I got to do something different right now. Okay, cool. You know what I'm saying? That's part of marriage, because marriage, or just part of having a relationship with friends, or just having a relationship with people, or with your employer. Like, sometimes you have to have those difficult conversations in order for you to create a foundation and realize, yo, things can get better. They don't have to get worse. Right. So let's fix it now. Right. You know what I'm saying? People thought I was crazy when I was working my 9 to 5. I would tell the manager, I say, hey, this ain't gonna work. I'm telling you, it's not gonna work. I don't operate like this. Like, you being a micromanager, I don't do that. I like things in a macro perspective. Let me do me, and I promise you, things gonna get done. I promise you that. But we off the jump. We're gonna have this conversation right now before we get started. I appreciate you, but don't breathe down my neck now.
See, Lorelco, to your point, Vicky said something Wednesday night about how us being married, it's like I'm a mirror and she's a mirror.
Correct.
And so I think I said this at a marriage retreat too. It's like I see so much of the things that I need work on ever since we have come into this union of marriage.
Right.
And you were saying, you know, like I'm a mirror. So you see, this is what you said. You see a lot of the things that you feel like are wrong with you. Mm-hmm. And because we're in relationship, we have to be willing to look at those things and be like,
and address it and deal with it.
Man.
And that's uncomfortable. What I was saying was people don't like to be uncomfortable, which is why they don't want to fix their relationships and they just leave. Yeah. They don't want to be uncomfortable. They don't want to see the ugly parts of themselves. Like, oh, you're not finna break me down.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're older, like you want to talk about this all the time, being older and trying to manage friendships and relationships. It's like, I don't have time to be trying to break myself down with you. Like there are things I'm going to work on, but at the same time, like I shouldn't have to teach somebody how to do that, how to see themselves and react the proper way and treat me right based on the fact that you see what you're doing wrong and acknowledge what you're doing wrong. And then like you don't have to keep going through, like at a certain age, you should know how to do that. You should know how to be emotionally mature enough to say, this is what I'm doing wrong and I'm going to fix it.
This is what they do. They mask it with irreconcilable differences.
That's
what my dad said.
Exactly.
Mask the fact that they can't sit in discomfort for a season of their life.
Yes.
Realize, hey, we just don't like each other right now, but we married. We're gonna work through. Instead of saying we're gonna work through, we're gonna battle through. What can we do to get better? We just gonna break up on irreconcilable difference. We
and
still
you know
cool,
why?
But we just mask the issue of discomfort because you don't want to sit there in it.
You know why?
What's that?
Because they be on social media watching these couples post these. They be watching. I mean, you watch the reels. You see the cute vacations. Oh, they got couple friends. All that, and you don't realize that people are watering that grass behind the scenes.
Exactly.
People keep using the building. Even when you see the beauty of a building, you don't see the maintenance crew. Somebody,
you know how much they water bill is.
Offering
up greener. The grass is greener, but the water bill is high.
It was higher.
Come on,
somebody.
You know how much the work and effort is being put into that.
Songwriter said, "You see my glory, but you don't see my story."
Come on.
And see, that's all of the points that we're making. And I know some people, don't disagree with everything, but here's, guys, we have to ensure that we're looking at us.
Inwardly.
We have to look into us as individuals. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I said, early on in our marriage, I didn't realize how prideful I was.
Hey,
so much better. I'm so proud of you. You're doing amazing, sweetie.
Boy, man.
Hey, you might not realize it, but I did. I knew I was proud. Lord,
yeah.
And it's like y'all said, like people don't want to have uncomfortable conversations. It was those uncomfortable conversations that we had. It's like, babe, you don't have to kill yourself just to make it seem like you're this powerful man. Like, it's okay. I can help. I can do this or I can do that. Like, talk to me, communicate with me. Mm-hmm. But instead, I was acting like Kay and Kai, and I didn't want to use my words. I was like, no, I got it. And the longer we go through that in relationships with people who are willing to help, we're refusing help and we're refusing to grow. And it's like, man, why isn't my grass green? Because the person that would water me, I'm not allowing them to come.
Unlock them out.
I'm not allowing the maintenance crew to come.
But here's the issue. And I'm glad that you said that. Here's the issue. When we don't learn how to water our own grass first, before we get into relationships, it's going to be hard to allow someone else to water it.
Come on.
You get what I'm saying? Like before Wanda, I had to learn how to water myself. Before Wanda, I had to learn to intrinsically figure out how to manage my emotions. Before Wanda, I had to learn how to maintenance my own house.
Come on.
And so what we do is we get into these relationships thinking, all right, it's your turn. You go ahead, maintenance. Go on and call the maintenance crew. Well, you can't do it for yourself.
Come on.
Go on, go ahead and fix that pipe. Well, why can't you do it? Well, then we're going back and forth, tit for tat. Why? Because we never understood the importance of watering our own grass. We never understood the importance of calling maintenance for ourselves, getting our own therapy before we get into ourselves into a relationship. Now we trauma dumping on our spouse, and we trying to have her fix me, because I'm messed up. You know what I mean? Because I don't know me now. Because you didn't take the time to figure out how to water your own grass first. Yes, it's expensive. Yes, it's expensive to cook for yourself. Yes, it's expensive to manage your emotions. It is. But that's the price you pay to grow up. That's the price you pay to mature. Mm-hmm. There's always a price of maturity. And I think that we get caught up in this everything got to be quick. Mm-hmm. Everything got to be so fast. Like, I got to mature quick. And so I'm going to act like I'm going to sound mature, but I'm really not. I'm going to walk with my head high like I got it together when you really don't. Mm-hmm. Like, we got to be transparent with ourselves. So, you know what? I'm still working on my house right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm still watering. I know my grass is a little dusty. I get it. You know what I mean? I'm still trying to figure out how to water my. It's expensive. I'm trying to figure that out right now.
Yeah.
And if we learn to look at people before we get married and look at their lawn,
oh my God,
then we'll know if they are for us or not.
Yep.
Because if you ain't got no green grass in your lawn,
come on.
I know that's a deep analogy, but what I'm saying is, you get what I'm saying? Like, I went to California not too long ago. I was like, yo, the grass is greener out here now. Why? Because it's been raining.
Okay.
Come on.
But if I walk and I see, if I'm looking at your lawn and you got nothing but dust and dirt, I'm like, hold on, you ain't watering.
Have green grass together.
Well, how we gonna do it together if you ain't watering your own self?
You gonna come in your yard and kill all your plants.
And we're gonna bring weeds
and all of that, mix it together because y'all won.
You know what I'm saying? Because right, and so what I'm saying is, it's two wholes make holes.
Yep.
Not two halves.
Yeah.
And I was always taught, hey, two halves make a whole. That's what I was taught. Like, yo,
bring your 50 with my 50 and we make 100.
You know what I mean?
You complete me.
No, I gotta complete myself first. I gotta water my grass first.
I want y'all to hear me. I want you to hear me. Hear me when I say it. There's a lot of us who are, y'all really waiting on me too.
Shit, Wanda, come on.
There's a lot. The thing is, I really feel that there are a lot of people who are in these marriages, right? And you've been sad and you've been crying yourself to sleep, and you just felt like, ooh, this is the end of my marriage. Why can't we be like this other person or this other person, right? But the truth is, you just need to water yourself.
Yep.
That's really deep, to be honest, because there's been times in my life where I looked at Lorelco and I was like, man, I wish that he could see that I was doing X, Y, and Z, and I wish he would give me some accolades on it. Like, we were joking about being at the gym, and when I go to the gym with him and he would try to work me out, and I would kind of be like, I ain't working out with you no more, because he wouldn't give me accolades for making all of my sets, because when I go with the trainer, the trainer is going to literally sit there and he's going, come on, you got it. The last sets, when I get weak, right, he going to say, you got this. No, Lorelco, he going to be silent. He not going to give me accolades. And it came a point when I said, okay, am I going to work out because he not giving me accolades? Am I going to stop working out? Most times I was going to stop working out. The truth of the matter is that's not helpful. Like, just because your spouse is not completing you like you want them to do, like, why don't you complete yourself? And another thing is, like, there's a lot of people who are single, right? And you're waiting on that special one. And my thing, like, I get this question all the time, like, how do I prepare for a spouse? How do I prepare for a husband? And the truth is, like, you need to prepare for you, because if that husband never comes or that wife never comes, who are you? And a lot of times, like, we're waiting on these spouses, or we're praying for these spouses, but like, we're not even the person that the spouse that we prayed for would want to meet,
Come on.
It's like, do you take care of yourself? Do you have self-care appointments? I don't know, whatever it is that you feel like your spouse could like you got to do that before they get here. You can't be waiting on a spouse to check off, well, once my spouse gets here, I'm gonna go travel. No, go travel by yourself. Like, do things that you genuinely love. And I feel like when you do that, the person that's right for you, they just kind of come and, seamlessly mesh with you. It shouldn't have to, like, the person that you're waiting for, or even the person that you're with, they shouldn't come and try to, and they don't have to be the finishing piece for you. Like, you're the finishing piece, and they're just like, you're the cake, okay? And they are the icing. Come on, analogy. Like, they should be the icing on your cake, okay? That's all I'm trying to say, you know? Make your cake, bake it, make it nice, make it pretty, and let them just ice it over. But guess what? The taste is in the cake.
Come on. You just ministered to me, because I be waiting for Cam to invite me to the gym, because I don't care about going unless he invite me. But I gotta want it for myself.
Yes.
But I don't.
The thing.
I don't care. He don't care. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna be out of shape.
Because what y'all saying is so good, because here to the gym analogy, right? I would get up and I would preach, you know, on our 3rd Sundays and our 5th Sundays, and I'd be like, yeah, y'all, you know, my wife want me to have a 6-pack, so I'm gonna start going to the gym because my wife want me to have a 6-pack. Well, I never ended up getting a 6-pack because I was doing it for her. Well, now, like, I be in the gym because I want to look good for me.
Come on, look good for your. Come on. When you look in the mirror, you should be like, yes. Come on, somebody. You should look sexy for yourself.
Huh? I'm trying to be healthy for me and my future children.
Come on.
I'm trying to be healthy because I know that there is a plan and a purpose that God has for my life, and I want my body to be able to deal with or sustain the work that God has yet for me to do.
Come on.
And if I continue to try to do things for other people, like I said in that reel, I'll continue to fail.
Come on.
Because at the end of the day, you can't please people. You have to do the work that God has placed in you so you can accomplish the work that he has for you.
Come on.
This is getting good.
Am I going to go to the gym at 6 a.m. with you? Probably not. I'm just letting you know right now. But I'm going to go for me. Yes.
Y'all heard it here first. We heard it here first. We need.
If y'all don't see no gym selfies, you know what happened?
Here's the thing. Like, it's just like we all say this, and we don't even really know what we're saying.
Come on.
It's like, well, I can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself.
That's true.
Same thing for anything you want to do and accomplish in life. If I want you to be in the gym more than you want to be in the gym, you'll never get to the point where I want you to be, because you don't want it.
Oh, good.
You don't. And I'm not like attacking.
No,
I'm just saying in general.
Offended.
If you want somebody oh man, I just really wish. And we have those people that, man, if they just did X, Y, and Z, they would be so, but they don't want it. So they're not going to be there.
Right.
Right.
But the people that do live up to the potential that you think or see, or it's like, man, I always knew X, Y, Z. You want to know why? Because they were consistent, they were disciplined, and they wanted it. They had the hunger.
Yep.
And this is
hunger and thirst.
Come on now.
Okay.
Come on, as a deer panther, my soul longeth in thirst.
Are you desperate enough?
And this is a thing too, like for a more practical sense. Let's say I want Wanda to go to the gym with me. Let's say because we're in a relationship, right? I want her to, everything is I want her to go to the gym with me. Now, practically, my job isn't to say you need to be in the gym because you slacking.
Mm-hmm.
Practically, you know what I'm saying?
Sometimes you gotta say.
Sometimes, but it's how you say it, right? Sometimes, hey, babe, I'm gonna be in the gym. I'm going to the gym. Would you like to come? You start asking those questions. Would you like to come? I'm gonna be at the gym. Would you like?
That's what you did to me today.
Yeah, she came to the gym. Would you like to come?
I wasn't trying to be.
But more practically, when you begin to understand who your spouse is, what are they intrinsically motivated by, and what are they extrinsically motivated by? These are two questions you have to ask. Okay, if Wanda's motivated intrinsically, what are those things? Well, she just likes, like you were saying, I want my body to be right. It's for me because I have a goal to be this certain amount of pounds, and I have a goal to lose a certain amount of body fat. Well, that's intrinsic. Now, if you're not intrinsically motivated, all that stuff that I'm talking about won't even matter to you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you extrinsically motivated by? Well, I slip when I get to Cancun, when I get to, when I get to Cabo, I'm trying to flex on them. Well, that's extrinsic because now you're thinking about the outward appearance. You know what I mean? You're thinking about what you will look like. So now, since I know, okay, we got an upcoming trip coming. All right, babe. We got chill coming. We got to get some bathing suits. You ready for it? oh dang, okay, if we're trying to get bathing suits, I gotta get to the gym real quick. Oh, that'll get you motivated, really. Okay, bet. Let me go buy her some stuff. You know what I mean? Or let's go look at some stuff together. You know what I mean? So to get you kind of motivated to get to the gym.
Oh,
So that we got to look at both intrinsically, what are you motivated practically?
Yep.
Intrinsically, what are you motivated by? Extrinsically, what are you motivated by? Because not everybody's motivated by the same thing to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? And if that ain't you, and if that ain't your thing, we can't stop. We got to stop forcing our thing on our spouse. Like, hey, babe, I'm in here. You gonna be in here too? Well, no. Okay. Well, there it is. You know what I mean? Just be okay with that and sit in that, and then just continue to work on yourself. So,
because if it's one thing that Vicky knows about me, she knows I'm not going to force her to do anything.
I know,
Right.
but I like when you do.
I've never forced you to do anything.
I kind of like when you do
Our
that.
entire marriage, I've never forced you to do anything.
that's a
Because
blessing.
you want to know why? I'm protecting my peace and yours. Message.
Yes, it
I like when you push me around a little bit, though.
I'm protecting my peace.
You think it's
Because
protecting your
then
peace,
I don't
but-
want to be frustrated with the fact that you don't do what I'm asking you to do.
That's C right there.
Come on now.
It's like when you're a little aggressive, but it's fine. I get that in other ways. Anyway.
Okay.
Um,
All
I
right.
gotta stop me because if I keep talking, I'm gonna keep saying stuff now.
well, should we take? Do y'all take Q&A? Like, is it like a little question and answer?
Yeah,
box?
we can take Q&A.
Probably like
We can do that now because we're
gonna bring Kay and Kai in here anyways. They
okay.
gonna
We can do
Q&A.
a Q&A.
We're
Any
gonna
questions?
put a cap. We got 10 minutes. We're gonna say we got 10 minutes left. We already been on an hour and a half, and this is just it's been great. It's been great.
Because one thing about us, we
We
gonna talk now. We gonna talk now.
Yes.
Hey, imagine if we didn't do the FaceTime yesterday, though. This would have been an even longer conversation.
My God.
Exactly.
Huh?
We divulged a lot.
Q&A. Any questions? Any things
Any last remarks?
that you all want us to hit on? Our girl Whitley says she ready to get us
She
a
took
publishing
notes.
deal, and
Right.
she got the idea. She got everything.
Oh,
She said, "I'll have a document."
you could bring them in here.
Yes, we're gonna. Yeah, this is gonna be. This is we're recording this. It's gonna be posted on the pod. It will be live again after we edit it.
Yeah, and we apologize for these little squares. This wasn't doing this earlier. You know what I mean? I like to operate in excellence, and I apologize.
All right.
Wasn't here before, so y'all just pray. On our next go around,
They're gonna need to have us back
y'all gonna have to have us back.
because we had a lot of technical difficulties.
It's okay. That's all right.
Next week, let's do it again.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
First,
You know?
Like, this is everything is we and
next week. All right, here we go. How do you make a safe space for someone who has difficulty communicating / being vulnerable?
That's a good question for you, babe, because I was that person. Difficult to communicate with.
Or okay, since it would be what things did I do that made you want to open up? My God.
I feel like one of the things I appreciated, and I also will say this about Wanda too, because I'm not vulnerable with a lot of people. And I'm very
Because
vulnerable.
Wanda pulls
I'm
stuff out of you that I'll be shocked. This woman of God got another grace on her life. You want to talk for how long? My God.
I don't know. It's just like I like people who don't force me to talk. Like you don't ask me to, if that makes sense. Like you don't expect me to. Like I don't know. It's something about when people give me the space to just be me and don't expect something from me.
Be free, daughter.
I feel like I can be myself because you're not expecting me. You're not expecting anything from me. Like people who expect something, like they try to force it out of me, I shut down, you know? So I feel like because you don't force anything out of me, I can be more vulnerable and have the space to really say what I want to say. And also because you're not like turned off or shocked if I say something out of pocket. that's not really a good thing. But because me like being so defensive and me like always like, because I have a lot of bark and no bite, basically. I you know me.
Well, I will say, just a brief interjection. I will say, from the moment that we started like liking each other for real, I noticed immediately discernment on 500. I noticed immediately like she's really defensive.
Oh.
And I will always ask you like, why are you being so defensive? Remember that? I will always ask you like.
But the fact that you weren't turned off by me shutting you down all the time,
I would just be like, why is she so? And
it made me like you.
I was like,
same thing with Wanda.
I would pray. I said, God, how do I said this already. How do I create an environment that is conducive for you to open up? How do I carry myself? How do I make myself non-threatening? Because a defensive person always got their guard up. They got the shield, they got the invisible force field. I mean, just
walls on walls.
Just ready.
All of them.
I'm like Jesus to Peter. Put down your sword, girl.
Oh, I was ready.
Baby girl.
You had something to say about me? I'm
put
fighting.
The weapons down.
Okay.
And so I would always try to create an environment where she could open up. She could feel safe. She could feel, oh, like I'm not being attacked. Oh, like he's lacing his words with grace and truth and kindness and love. And
like showing up is good for me too. Like I like when people just show up just because they want to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? I as a kid growing up, I got like rejected a lot by friends and people that I liked. They would like kind of shut me out in a way. And so I like when people like keep talking to me, even though I feel like I may have done something or said something to push them away. They still keep coming back and still not expecting anything from me, just like talking to me just because we cool like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's also just because you just keep listening. I don't know why, you just do. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna keep talking if you keep listening. So yeah.
It's good. I think that Lo, he's a good communicator, surface levels, but vulnerability, nah. And so
me and Lo are kind of the same. We're
hey, no, everything you just is like y'all. They like y'all are like. But most of my friends that I've had in my life are always the quiet friends, or like they're always like the people that people really don't know a lot about them, and like somehow I'm their friend because I can understand people and not try to put my own like expectations on them. Although it's hard now. It's hard when you are vulnerable and you know how to communicate, and then like people don't communicate. So I'll say like you need to have patience and like be able to accept people for who they are and not what you want them to be. You know, because like when it comes to like Lo, or when it came to like all of my closest friends, like I've always been the person that like, I don't mind being vulnerable. I don't mind oversharing, over communicating and stuff like that. And I feel like when I've done that, there's times that, well, I'll say there's a lot of people that use vulnerability as a manipulation tool. So there's people who like will be vulnerable with you in hopes that you're vulnerable back to them, so they can like get your info or whatever. But if you're like a genuine person and like you're trying to genuinely build a relationship with someone, and you just show, hey, I trust you, but I'm not going to ask you, hey, well, I just shared that my dad did this. What did your dad do? Now they're going to shut down because no, they shouldn't have to share just because you share, you know? So pretty much like stepping into relationships and understanding that like each person that you're in a relationship with doesn't have your expectations, and like literally seeing them where they are. I feel like with Lo, a lot of times, because like he's my husband or like he was my boyfriend, there were certain answers I would expect him to have. So like I would break my rules of like, you know, making him feel safe and just be like, well, shouldn't you just open it up and just say it? Like, you know, but like we've had like the most like, I guess, connecting conversations, and like where I really felt like, man, I saw his heart. For me, I feel like it's when I just listen, and when I don't critique, and when I don't ask a lot of questions, and when I'm just like genuinely there for them. And also like you have to really listen to people, not to respond, but like listen to them to like hear their heart and like hear what they're really trying to say. Because people aren't just saying words just like blanket. There's always like a deeper root, and like they're trying to get you to understand their emotions and like hear their heart. You know, people just want to be heard. Oh my goodness. Oh Jesus, run. Run. Sorry. Don't mind us. I'm gonna send y'all what just happened. I'm gonna send y'all. Y'all are gonna like literally. Anywho. Long story short, just like don't expect you from other people, and like genuinely like get to know people and like show them love where they are and not where you want them to be.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
Amen.
Well,
that took a turn.
Here, we'll take this last question. Tavi says, how do you show your spouse love and respect?
How do you show them? It depends on the person. But
I wish Lo was over here because I would ask him.
Hold on.
How do you show your spouse love and respect?
You got to answer your own question now, because.
I mean, I really believe it boils down to. It's gonna sound really deep and spiritual, but
put it on them.
Dwelling with your spouse with knowledge, right?
Yes.
Like if I know you, then I know how to show you love.
Right. You have to know them.
And I know how to, like it's through intimacy. It's through conversation. It's through actions. It's through learning how you communicate, how you receive, like all of the above. Like it's really, really knowing you that I'm able to show you love and respect. So Lorelco, here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
On the screen here. What's up, nephews? They can't hear me. How do you show your spouse love and respect? So Lorelco, question for you. Mm-hmm. One may say, Tovi. One may say that the way that you show your spouse love and respect is through the 5 love languages.
Okay, here we go.
But I'll pose the question to the Mulzacs, starting with Lorelco. How do you show your spouse love and respect?
How do you show your spouse love?
Is this question like, how do we personally show love, or just in general? Because I feel like there's no general answer.
That's not it. Yeah,
because everybody's different.
So the way I show you love and respect is different from the way that Lorelco would show Wanda love and respect.
Yeah. I'm
sorry, y'all.
How do you show love? How do you show your spouse love? You said it. You really said it, because it's out of intimacy. It's out of. So that's the one with big emotions. This is the one with big emotions.
We were signing up for it.
The one with big emotions, by the way. But so it's based off of connection. It's based off of being intimate. It's based off of knowing who you are. It's based off of knowing who the other person is. It's based off of, that's an interesting question, because it's so KK.
It's personalized.
Personal. That's a very personal.
You know what I mean? Because if you're asking me how do I show, you gotta
ask your spouse how they want to be loved and respected.
Okay, here she's clarifying. She's going deeper. She said men need respect and women need love.
They both need respect.
No, I need both.
Yeah,
but this is good though, because
this
is the it's gonna sound mean, but I'm about to say this is like the generic phrasing that people say in relation to husband and wives, men.
Right. But we both need the same thing.
It's like men need respect.
It is respect.
People have got up. I mean, large platform. See, men don't need love. Men need respect. Women need love.
I need some love too now. I love the respect. You respect me, but you show me some love too. You know. Here's the thing. You're right. It is overgeneralized, and we have this thing where men don't need love, men need respect, and so you raise up a bunch of men who think that respect is pounding your chest, and they don't know how to love affectionately. They don't know how to give a hug. They don't know how to say, "Hey, man, I really love you, bro." You know what I'm saying? Without the extra stuff on the side. And so when we raise up a generation that men only need respect, then you leave out the love piece. People don't know how to be affectionate and understand that love does require emotion. And then you raise another generation of women who just say women just need love. Then you got a lot of men disrespecting their wives or disrespecting women, and women thinking that it's okay because at least he loved me. Not realizing that respect is love. That love is respect. They go hand in hand.
Now you talking.
Listen.
Now you're talking.
Now you preaching.
You know, I think that's the misconception. We want to raise a generation of men and women who are healthy and understanding that, hey, I got love and respect.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I know how to love emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And I know how to give respect as well. And I think that's something that creates a healthy relationship with one another. With me and my wife, like, yo, like I know she needs respect just as much as I know she needs love. Because if I don't respect her, she don't respect me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then we take a step further. If we don't respect ourselves, we're not going to respect our wives either. If we don't love ourselves, well, how do we love our wives? How do we love our spouses if we don't even love ourselves? So the first order of business is make sure you respect and love you first. We love our wives. How do we love ourselves? Whoa! Don't come on now.
Stop.
Don't let me shout now. Glory.
Oh,
But I think.
Whoa! I felt that thing. You keep playing that thing, I'm gonna end up running around this house.
But
I think love and respect are the same. Like you can't love someone you don't respect, or can you?
But practically they're not the same, but they go hand in hand.
They go hand in hand, though.
I think they go hand in hand.
I just don't feel. How can you love someone that you don't respect?
No,
That's not love.
No,
Disrespect is not love.
no.
Not disrespect is not
lack of respect is disrespect.
Not respect disrespect.
The lack of respect is a disrespect. Yes, because if you're not respecting somebody and you're operating with disrespect,
love,
that's not love.
So because I don't know something, I'm not smart.
Tune in next week as we discuss love and respect.
Yeah, we might have to go. We might have to go into that.
Yeah, that's a good debate right there.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, we're gonna have to go into that. Okay.
Because that's a whole no.
Let me do some more research. Let me do some more reconnaissance.
Some research on that one.
Reconnaissance.
Because can I really respect you and not love you?
But I really feel like we shouldn't.
The Bible doesn't tell us to respect. He says love one another. That's one of the greatest commandments.
It doesn't say respect.
The greatest of these is love.
Yeah.
The greatest of these is love. He didn't say
but there are certain people that have done things that have caused me to lose respect for them, but I still love them.
But you still.
But there's two types of respect in that context.
But then there's two types of love. Then
there are multiple types of love, and that is.
Now we get.
Earlier,
y'all said you can't not respect one without it being disrespect.
But you can respect people that you don't respect. Oh my! Someone raise an offering for me.
You still can be respectful to somebody that you don't
respect.
You don't respect who they are.
Called love.
But
that's
you love them anyway, and that's respect.
No, that's called love.
It's another word for this type of respect is honor.
Yes, there's a difference between
those you don't respect.
Yes, there's a difference between having respect for somebody and the verb respecting them, like doing the respect is different than having respect for somebody. Yeah. It's different. It's two different things.
Now we begin
with the word.
Now we begin to talk. Like Toby, I did not want them to go this far with this.
Did it, but to her point, to what she asked, I feel like we have to stop trying to give general answers for things that require you to do work. Relationships are work. And if you really want to know how to love and respect somebody, you have to know that person and do the work to figure out how to love and respect them properly in the way that they need to be loved and respected.
That's good.
Like you can't just skip that part and just say, well, they said this is love and respect, so that's what I'm gonna do, and that's right. No, you have to get to know, you have to dwell with people and get to know them to know what they consider love and respect. Y'all have to come to that mutual agreement. That's the whole purpose of having relationships with people. If we didn't have to do that work, then relationships would be easy and we'd all be kikiing.
Yeah.
Like we have to have those kind of conversations and get to know people. That's it.
That's good, Steven. That's good. Or Stefan. Which one is it? Stephen or Stephen? Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Now, this next question, it's a power punch.
Is it weighty?
It's the this is officially the last question, guys.
Okay, because
time keeps on slipping.
Here we go. How to deal with bad blood between your mom and dad sides of their families. Now, when we're talking about this, what exactly do you mean? Are you talking about like your relationship with your mom and dad sides of the family, or your mom's side of the family is crazy and your dad's side of the family is crazy and y'all can't reconcile? Or is it like you and your spouse has bad blood between one side of the family? Because there's so many options. I was talking to, like one of my mentors earlier.
We're gonna be here all day if we talk about that.
And he was asking me, he's like, man, like I'm about to get, he's about to step into a new season in his life. He wants to get married. And there's dysfunction on both sides of his family. On his dad's side, there's dysfunction. On his mom's side, there's dysfunction. So it's like, is that what you're saying, Jennifer? Like there's dysfunction because one person can't heal. One human can't heal either side of the family.
Mm-mm.
But I know a man.
Okay.
Please
I know a man.
send help.
Who was born from a virgin, huh?
At the end of the day, you're responsible for yourself.
Born in the
So
manger.
work on yourself and love people with the love of the Lord.
God with
and
us,
respect them. Show them respect and love. And be an example. That's all you got. That's all you can really do. And pray for them. That's really it. Because you can't change people. So you gotta love them through it. Amen. It is not your responsibility to fix people's problems, but you can be an example and you can work on yourself so that the generations after you see a model citizen and know what to do. Come on. That's all you got. That's all you got. That's all you got. The moral of this story is you're responsible for yourself.
That's it.
Be emotionally mature, work on your emotions and how you handle things so that you're not hurting other people, perpetuating issues, and you're communicating properly so that other people can see the light within.
That's it.
That's the key. That's the key.
That's the key.
And then you'll be set in all your relationships.
Any final thoughts from the Mulzacs as we close?
Yeah.
Don't slap people, y'all.
Don't slap them. Just don't slap them.
That's it, man.
No, I don't know, y'all. I think the overwhelming theme is like, there were lots of things that we said, really, but if I could leave you with anything, I don't got anything, y'all. I really don't.
Any final remarks, Lo?
Final remarks. I mean, again, I feel that we should learn to continue to water our own grass. Even if we're in a relationship, we should still continue to water our grass. Understand that our foundation should be firm on God alone, not in my wife, not in my kids, not in, my family members. My foundation is in Christ alone. And if there's an issue, just to wrap it all up, make sure that we confront the issue in a loving manner so that it doesn't boil over into cracks within the foundation and cracks within other areas that could cause turmoil in other areas of our lives. Let's go ahead and handle that issue. Let's tackle it. Let's go it with love and grace and believe and trust that the Lord can mend what is broken or, can fix what it needs to be fixed. But at the end of the day, our foundation is in Christ. So that's my final words. That's the preacher to come out of me.
Any final words for you, babe?
I said my final.
You sure did. Last word for me would be something my dad said Wednesday night. Some relationships need reconciliation.
Yeah.
Meaning the repairing or the adjusting of the books. And sometimes reconciliation looks like, I don't need to be in this relationship.
That's it.
And so for somebody that might be out there that you may be thinking that you need reconciliation in a particular relationship, you need to repair this relationship, whatever. God does not want us to stay in relationships that are abnormal of their use.
Mm-hmm.
aka abusive
relationships.
So,
Because you might slap somebody.
Oh, Lord.
Here's another one.
You
You didn't do it right.
I don't know why I cut off like that. Maybe I don't know.
Got that noise gate on it.
It's like I double tapped it or something. But thank you all for joining today's episode of Everything is We with our special guest, Lorelco Mulzac and Wanda Mulzac, the extraordinary influencers on Instagram and TikTok. You can find them on all of their social media platforms, and you can check them out at their website, www.mulzacs.com.
I don't think.
Actually, Shop K and Kai is where y'all need to be at. Get y'all baby some fresh clothes. Let me send you.
Hey, do that now.
Do that. Copy that.
Copy that.
I got your attention. Copy that. Sorry with the sounds now, because we'll tell you.
Hey, thank you all. Thank you to it was like over 130 people earlier that were on live with us. It's 112 now. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us. Whether you came in, whether you've been here the whole time, whether you haven't been the whole time. Thank you to Lexus for getting the super chat going. Some of y'all donated, some of y'all didn't, but it's okay. We just glad to be in the number. Hey, listen, this will be re-uploaded so you can watch it in its entirety and catch all the gems that we had in here. It wasn't just about the incident that happened on Sunday, but it's about how we can navigate our everyday lives and our everyday relationships, because we want you to have relational intelligence. Love you. God bless you. Peace.
Peace.